All right, welcome back to Politically Homeless. This is Dave. Thanks for being here. Sorry I haven't been here too often. Some of you are probably really happy about that, but I'm back and I'm talking about World War III, and this isn't hyperbole. No one's going to care, right? But we are in the beginning stages of World War III. I know we've got Trump and we got trials and we got NDAs and hush money or whatever it is that we're talking about these days, and whether Trump's going to go to prison. And there's just some interesting topics out there. But then there's this boring thing, World War III. Like, who cares about World War III, right? Ukrainian official says Ukraine launched strikes on Russian territory with U.S. provided rocket system, the HIMARS. That's right. And this is after President Biden lifted restrictions on Kiev's use of those weapons. By the way, this guy, Chernev, told the New York Times that Ukraine had launched strikes. And of course, the New York Times celebrating because the New York Times, they hate Russia. And I get it. It's it's the old gray lady. And the old gray lady doesn't really change. Chernev, the deputy chairman of the Ukrainian parliament, also part of the defense and intelligence community inside of Ukraine, claimed the strikes destroyed S-300 and S-400 missile systems about 20 miles inside Russia's Belgorod Oblast, which is just inside the border, like 20 miles, right? Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk also hinted that Ukraine hit Russian territory with Western-provided weapons. Oh, but Dave, we're not sending troops there. This isn't a full-scale war. Until when? Look, Ukraine is not doing well. They have not been doing well. Admittedly, though, this is taking a lot longer than some of the experts predicted. But it's not like Ukraine has turned this around. So Biden, this is the big kicker here. Biden lifted the restrictions on Kiev's use of these weapons. Anyway, this deputy prime minister person says here, it's burning well, meaning the S-300. It's burning well. And they have a picture here of the S-300 burning well. So I'm sure Russia is not going to be very happy about this, right? So again, President Biden gives Ukraine the green light to hit Russian territory with U.S. provided missiles last week, marking a significant escalation of the proxy war. I don't think it's that proxy. I think we're doing pretty much everything. And it's probably why we're not doing very well against Russia, because we really couldn't beat a whole bunch of ragtag cave dwellers in Afghanistan. And now we're up against Russia. Okay. And Russia is just playing like rope-a-dope. They're not going in there full power, but now you're going to start to see some crazy things, I think, because how long can these guys just sit back and not escalate when now US made weaponry is, blowing up things? This S-300 is burning up nicely here. Of course, they had to take this picture down. I don't know why they would do that, but apparently they did. Stoltenberg, the NATO Secretary General, and other Western officials have shrugged off. They've shrugged it off, the risk of escalation. But Russian officials continue to issue warnings. Where's Tulsi Gabbard when you need her, right? Remember the old Tulsi? She would have gone off on this and said, the United States, we're risking major escalation in World War III here. I think we're in the beginning stages of World War III. That's my opinion. You can have your opinion. You could think this is hyperbole. I don't see why this isn't the beginning stages of World War III, because they want to go up against Russia. They want to go up against China. Our country is nuts right now. We are soft. We are lazy. We are economically in a very, very rough patch. But what are we going to do? Well, Dave, you have a war, and that's going to really boost the economy if we get into a full-scale war. I can't believe that people think this way. I know there are these problem solvers that I was following for a little while in Congress, and they all agree on the worst possible things like funding Ukraine, funding an endless supply of weapons to Israel, also, in addition to Ukraine. We have to, protect democracy around the world. I'm just like, what? Our own democracy is, under siege, to use a Donald Trump term here. On Monday, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov urged the U.S. to heed Vladimir Putin's warning against NATO's. See, nobody takes Putin seriously. See, Putin doesn't sit around trying to bluff. Putin just says stuff, and then typically he does it. I would like to caution American officials against miscalculations, which may have fatal consequences. For some unknown reason, stupidity, they underestimate the seriousness of the rebuff they may receive, Ryabakov said. Again, this article by the great Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. Again, the burning S-300, and they're firing and shooting stuff well inside the borders of Russia. And most Americans are, worried about the Summer Olympics or how hot it is outside or whatever it is that's going to distract from the reality that the American empire continues to just go up against other countries, and we don't negotiate. We don't want diplomacy. We just want to continue our war-driven and war-based economy. So we're not going to stop this, folks, with either of the two major political parties. I'm just putting that out there. I don't care if you're a big fan of Trump and you're going to listen to Trump say this never would have happened. Never would have happened if I was still the president. We don't know that for sure. But now what we need solutions to these problems. And if you think Trump is going to fix it, all of that is a long shot. I don't think in general that the people who are really running the military, and that doesn't matter, it makes no difference who the president is. The military people are basically running the show. They're running everything. And if they allow a president to get into office, and I say that because it all seems like a game show and it seems fake. But if someone rises to power, they might be able to do a few of their little pet peeve issues, but they still have to take care of the military-industrial complex first. And if they disagree, they're pretty much told to shut up and sit down, and we've got it from here. Just go back to the Oval Office and make sure you look good for the cameras and put on a good front. Do what you need to do, but don't get in our way. That's what they do. And that's how the presidency works. So Biden gives the go-ahead, and this, regardless of what you think about how far along this is a major, dangerous escalation. And we have an election this year, so a wild card would be Biden going before the country, special primetime interview, if he can stay up that late. Maybe he does it in the afternoon when he's still awake. And he goes before the American people and he tells them that we have to go to war against Russia because Russia is trying to take over Eastern Europe and they're trying to just acquire more land. And we have to stop Putin and all of his needless aggression across the globe because it could be us next. Russia could, we could see another Cuban Missile Crisis at some point. I mean, that would be the wild card where all of the neocons and the normies would sit there and go, oh, Biden is trying to rally us, those evil Russians. And at that point, you've got World War III because Russia is not Afghanistan, okay? Russia is not an empty parking lot. And if you want to call Russia a gas station, you mess around with Russia and Europe will really suffer come wintertime and in general, because Russia provides so much petroleum and nobody else seems to want to make it anymore because of all the environmental craziness out there, Russia says, screw that. If you're going to be a superpower, you have to be economically in good shape. And Russia is in better shape than most people think. And the United States is in far worse shape than what you're being told every day. So anyway, folks, war is hell. War is absolute hell, and it's also a racket. And the seriousness of this should speak to you today. Take a look at this and see if maybe something else is happening that the media isn't talking about. This is one issue that they pretend doesn't exist, and that's this looming conflict, World War III, if you will, between the United States and Russia.